and providing management for Hudson West 3. So a company that was effectively an arm of the Chinese government transferred $1 million in November 2017 to a company that Hunter Biden is managing and is invested in. Let's bring up the second record. Focus on the $1 million wire out on March 22nd, 2018. Again, this is a record from Hudson West 3's bank account. Like the previous record, this is showing the transfer of $1 million, but this time the money is being transferred out of Hudson West 3 to Owasco, another one of Hunter Biden's firms. This transfer took place on March 22, 2018, a little less than 5 months after the $1 million transfer from CEFC to Hudson West 3. Hunter is transferring $1 million between two firms he manages and has ownership in. So what is the purpose of these two $1 million transfers? This next record seems to answer that question. This record shows Owasco's receipt of the March 22, 2018 $1 million transfer. It also shows what the transfer is for on the OBI line. OBI is an abbreviation for Originating Beneficiary Information. It's like the memo line on your personal check. It tells you really what that check was about. In this case, the OBI indicates the transfer is being made for, quote, Dr. Patrick Ho Chi Ping representation, unquote. So to recap, on November 2nd, 2017, Patrick Ho's company, CEFC, wired $1 million to Hunter Biden's company, Hudson West 3. On March 22nd, 2018, Hudson West 3 wired $1 million to Owasco, another Hunter Biden company. The bank record clearly states the $1 million payment was being made for the purpose of representing Patrick Ho. Represent him for what? Here's where things get interesting. We know that Patrick Ho was arrested by U.S. authorities in November 2017 for international bribery and money laundering charges. Keep in mind that this arrest occurred in the same month that Patrick Ho's company, CEFC, is wiring $1 million to Hunter Biden's company, Hudson West 3. According to the Department of Justice, quote, Ho orchestrated and executed two bribery schemes to pay top officials of Chad and Uganda in exchange for business advantages for CEFC China, a Shanghai-based multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that operates in multiple sectors, including oil, gas, and banking, end quote. These are crimes for which Patrick Ho was eventually convicted and sent to federal prison for committing. So the company that Patrick Ho was making bribes for sends $1 million to a company Hunter Biden manages and is invested in. That company in turn transfers $1 million to another Hunter Biden company for the purposes of representing Patrick Ho, who was eventually convicted of international bribery and money laundering. And guess what Patrick Ho did around the same time he's arrested by the FBI for corruption and bribery? He contacted James Biden, President Biden's brother. Patrick Ho's decision to call the Biden family around the same time he got arrested is revealing, particularly in light of the fact that the same month $1 million just happened to be transferred to Hunter Biden's company. Now, Hunter Biden isn't a criminal defense attorney. Patrick Ho was charged and convicted for bribery, and related federal offenses and crimes. So what kind of representation was Patrick Ho's company paying Hunter Biden's firm to provide? Were they paying for his firm's legal expertise or for Hunter's political connections? In March 2021, Senator Grassley and I asked the Justice Department about Patrick Ho. Why? Because there's a federal court filing that says the department has FISA records on Patrick Ho. We requested these records. In response, the department would not confirm whether they even had his records. Unfortunately, the Attorney General refused to clarify that outrageous contradiction for Congress. Oh, and one more tidbit. In a recently uncovered audio extracted from his laptop, Hunter Biden referred to Patrick Ho as, quote, the expletive-deleted spy chief of China, unquote. Let that sink in a minute. Hunter Biden referred to Patrick Ho in an audio as the, quote, expletive-deleted spy chief of China, unquote. This quote alone tells you that Hunter Biden knew exactly who he was dealing with. He knew exactly who he was dealing with. He was dealing with the, quote, expletive-deleted spy chief of China. Now that fact should alert the media and our Democrat colleagues to seriously consider the implications the Biden family's vast web of foreign financial entanglements have in the conduct of this administration's foreign policy and our national security, but I'm not holding my breath. In October 2020, Senator Grass and I requested to interview Hunter and James Biden about their financial dealings. If they had nothing to hide, they could have volunteered to come in and sit for an interview. If there was an innocent explanation for these foreign financial transactions, they could have used that interview to clarify what those transactions were about. Unfortunately, rather than being transparent, honest, and forthcoming, they declined to speak for us or to us. Their silence speaks volumes. Fortunately, facts are stubborn things. As the Bidens, our Democrat colleagues, and the media is learning, it is difficult to keep them hidden forever. Senator Grassley and I will continue to investigate the Biden family's foreign financial entanglements and provide the American people with the truth to the best of our ability. Our challenge is the deep state does not give up its secrets easily. New evidence of Biden family influence peddling is surfacing on a regular basis, often coming from records from Hunter Biden's laptop. The same laptop, by the way, that the media and deep state foreign intelligence agency officials strongly inferred, was, you guessed it, Russian disinformation. And their guile worked. Trying to unify it is person to person. Are you familiar with something called the Joseph Project in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
No, I'm not.
I'll take just brief time to describe it. It's something I teamed up with a pastor in inner city church, Pastor Jerome Smith, a wonderful man. His congregation is obviously largely African American, but we've used this to connect people with real opportunity. And, you know, people of all races, all genders, people, some of them formerly incarcerated, some, just down in their life, alcohol, drug abusers, that type of thing. People want to turn their lives around by improving their attitude, committing to success. And we've literally transformed hundreds of lives. I wish it was thousands, I wish it was tens of thousands, but literally hundreds of lives. So does that sound like a pretty good way to heal this nation, working with individuals on a person-to-person basis? Absolutely.
You can make broad policy pronouncements, but unless you changed facts on the ground, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been very healing, certainly for those individuals that participate in it. A way not to heal, I think, is what's happening on social media. It was interesting to hear Senator Schumer talk about the malicious poison. And what's happening on social media so often is it's just malicious. And it comes, as I think you said in your opening statement, from across the political spectrum. We need to all condemn it. Let me ask you a question. If somebody came up to you privately, quietly, and said, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're a white nationalist. By the way, I do not believe you are. I would never assume that because, certainly growing up, when I was being taught the commandment that says, do not bear false witness, my Lutheran catechism says, always put the best construction on things. In other words, always assume the best about people, not the worst. So, how would you feel if somebody just privately called you a racist?
First of all, I would say they're wrong. Second of all, I would disagree with them. And as I said earlier, but I want to reiterate that even in my critiques of people, I'm very careful never to ascribe to the person.
Well, I thought, I heard that. I thought that was interesting. You say you never criticize the person. But that's not true. What you just testified there is false. Because not only did you go on, first of all, you don't know me. You don't know a lot of the people that you have accused online in front of millions of people. You have engaged in the malicious poison. You've accused people you don't know of very vile things. I mean, wouldn't you agree that probably calling somebody a racist is just under murderer and rapist? Calling somebody a racist? Is that about as serious and vile accusation as you can hurl against somebody you don't even know? I mean, you've never talked to me. You've never met me. You don't know what's in my heart, do you?
No, I have no idea no, I do not know what's in your heart at all. I know what...
So why would you go on social media and make those charges? And not only me, and by the way, what Senator Rubio said, this position is supposed to be for a nonpartisan. It seems like how you engage in malicious poison is purely partisan. You're hurling these charges against people that are generally one political persuasion. That's not nonpartisan. But again, why did you go on social media and level these vile and horrible charges against people, including me, that you don't even know? You didn't know anything about the Joseph Project. You didn't know about what's in my heart. Why did you do it?
Well, first of all, I don't think, as far as I can tell, and I'm happy to have this conversation further or right here, call you personally, or I don't call people personally.
No, we all know the tweet. It's right here.
Right.
Okay?
I know.
You said it's pure and simple. Pure and simple. White supremacy, nationalism. And then you refer to articles that continue the charge. Do you feel bad about that at all? I mean, do you retract that? I mean, what's your current position on this?
Can we allow the witness to answer your questions?
As I said earlier, it was not nuanced. I would not do diplomacy by tweet. While I may disagree with what you said specifically, and I think that's a legitimate difference, I certainly did not mean it, and I'm sorry if it was taken, and I'm sorry if I made it in a way that it could be assumed to be a political at the person personally.
Well, listen, I appreciate your apology, and I'll accept your apology. It's more than, for example, what the chairman of this committee has done, and other members who've also, callously and cavalierly hurled those same charges that I would consider are malicious poison to our body politic today. But again, appreciate the apology.